Well, that's a legitimate question, especially if you don't have money, right? And I try to do things also with a minimum. Well, my own little company now, the Sunflower Edge, I'm doing an LLC to spread this around the country. And well, the way I'm doing it right now is I didn't want to throw enormous amounts of money. I made a very tiny budget for it. $75,000 is the budget for all of this Sunflower Edge. And I just started talking it up amongst friends at parties. In fact, I've really become a pain in the ass. I kind of walk around with my sunflower. You know? And I started talking it up at parties, and I meet people like this Williams guy, and then I meet other people like the Medline guy, and I sort of start getting them excited on it. You have to get other people excited. If you can't get them excited on what you're doing, you're like in a vacuum. And as I got them excited, well, the Williams guy told his wife. His wife turned out to be a publisher who had built a $100 million business in New York City. She then calls me and says, I want to do all your publishing for free. I'm not going to charge you anything. I just want to spread this around the United States. So I just do it by trying to use my personality to draw people into the process so that we can actually accomplish something. That's more or less what any company does. You have to find other people to work with you. And the more you can find and the more energy you can spread, the more good things sort of pop up luckily, if you want to call it luckily. But isn't it exactly luck? Because everywhere I go, I talk sunflower. I have a friend over in the Chicago area in a place called Lake Geneva. That he holds a lot of parties. He's a party maniac, actually. And every time he holds a party, he has sunflowers if I'm there. So he's sunflowers, and so he demands that I tell the entire group of partiers what the sunflower is. And so I've met a lot of people that way, which I never would have met. And some of them have turned around to help. What I would suggest is you do a similar thing. If you're looking for money, that's the way to look for money. If you're looking for supporters or mentors, that's the way you find mentors and supporters. It's the old-fashioned way. Yeah, it's extreme networking the old-fashioned way. Not using Facebook or Twitters or things like that, just the old-fashioned way, face-to-face, you know. Well, my favorite kinds of companies are where you go into an older industry, or I say older industry, you go into a stagnant industry, like the airlines industry, or maybe the real estate industry, and you look at how they're doing business, and you try to help create more efficiency in how they're doing business. If you can create the value equation, whether it's through internet or software or some other mechanism, once you can create a value equation that's a positive value equation for an industry, now you have customers pulling rather than you pushing. Pulling meaning that they want your product, they want your service because it saves them money. And in today's economy, in today's age, that's the only way you're going to succeed. Every company is very cost conscious right now, but if you can explain to them, and they can agree, that you save them lots and lots of money, then of course they're going to look at what you have. But if you can't do that, it's going to be a harder sell, especially in today's environment. Yes? So the question is, have I used my logic and logician and math skills to apply it to the overall economy? You know, I tried. I talked with Senator Baucus and, you know, various bigwigs in both parties and, you know, tried to get them to focus on jobs and what I would do to reinstill jobs in America. And, you know, it's sort of like throwing seed on this cement down here, actually. We have a much better chance of growing something down here. So then I went back to my old-fashioned algorithm, which is go grassroots, Rob. You're an entrepreneur. You know, you can talk to people one-on-one or in groups and forget the politicians on both sides. I actually despise both sides. And just go grassroots. And that's what I'm doing. In fact, my friends, who are all these highfalutin friends, they say, we can get you meetings with Mr. Obama, Mr. this and that, I don't want meetings with any of them. I just want to spread the word to people like yourself sitting here. And I will. I can't get in front of every one of you and speak or work one-on-one with everyone, but I can get in the form of workbooks and web and books, and I will. You know, hopefully 5 years from now, there are 10 million copies of this Sunflower out circulating around, and people have it and they're building businesses, and we've created, I'm hoping, millions of little entrepreneurs. And I don't really care whether it's a one-person business or it grows to the size of an Ascend. We had 5,000 employees when we sold the company. It doesn't matter to me. You know, the one-person business is just as important to that person as the 5,000-person business, you know, is or was. How do I vet who I would take an idea to? That's a good question as well. Yeah, well, you know, that's just the whole thing with secrecy on ideas. I mean, you know, let me tell you how I feel about ideas. Ideas are like belly buttons. We actually all have a belly button. So everybody has an idea from time to time. And to me, you can't keep it to yourself, because if you keep it to yourself, you're not going to be able to make that social networking connection that could change the way your business might grow. I mean, I have an idea, right? The Sunflower. I've just told it to you, and I've told it to hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people. And I'm going to spread the word all around. It doesn't mean, you know, that I can't practice it. I'm probably the best practitioner of it, of anybody. And I tell that also to people that come to me. If you try to keep your idea to yourself and your company becomes like an unlisted phone number, you know, you don't want to tell anybody anything, that's not going to fly. Remember, what I said is that the core competency needs to be very unique and very distinct. If you have a unique, distinct core competency, then you shouldn't be that worried about telling people about it. I could tell anybody in the world about dialing. They couldn't do anything about it, because there were only a handful of people that could figure out what to do, you know, in that space. So I would suggest to you, you need to open up with your ideas, because you're more likely to get something good to happen than something bad to happen. You know, you can take precautions if you're dealing with a big company and having them sign some legal form of paper. But even that, by the way, I don't do. And when people come to me and say, will you sign a legal piece of paper? I say no. I say, I'm not going to sign anything. I say, don't tell me what you don't want to tell me. It's a pretty simple rule here. If you don't want to tell me something, don't tell me something. I'm trying to help you, and now you're trying to ask me to sign legal pieces of paper. So, you know, I'm pretty straightforward on things. I think you need to be open. You need to be open. I'm going to take one more question. It's going to be a doozy, and then I'm getting you off the stage. There it is, one more. How do I vet my partners? I vet my partners by the skills that I'm looking for. If I'm doing a software company like I told you I was going to do with Easter Seals, I need an engineer in database hashing. I need an engineer in contents. I need a web engineer. So I'll be looking for that class, and then I'll be trying to find the best of the best in that class. And the way I do that is networking. I start networking with people saying, I'm looking for this type of person, and I'll, you know, network around, and if I keep hearing the same name, you know, that'll be a pretty good bet that you found somebody. I'm actually an old-fashioned networker. And I actually I have to show you this, I use now an iPhone, so I'm actually a new networker too. But pretty much, this is only a year old. Pretty much, I am an old-fashioned networker. All right, that's it. Thank you very much. Yay!